Hey guys, Road Warrior back here again. I recently took first place in the grass cutter competition here on Fishing Planet. I want to walk you through a guide. First things first, here is my grass cutter mix. Does have shrimp along with CSL and X flavor. Now you would probably have to convert that to metric if need be. Simply change your options there. Now I do have my Lake Placid as well as that I put into this. As far as the spot, this is a very complex thing. You're going to put that in a PVA bag or a mesh bag. Now, there's my Lake Placid mix as well. Look on my carp playlist on my channel. That is on there as well in metric if you needed that converted. This is here, however, in Imperial in the event that you need. This is a very good mix for a lot of competitions here on Fishing Planet as well. Now, here's the setup. I do use the shrimp pop-ups 0.3 for the small, the 0.6 for the large. I had to try it in the past on my comp play alone using the hemp, thinking the hemp should probably be good for the grass. However, it says definitely better on the shrimp. A guy had mentioned this to me a long time ago that stopped by the channel. I hadn't seen him in a long time, but anyway, I wanted to pass that along there. The shrimp does work extremely well for the grass carp. I'm not saying it's going to isolate it out completely. There's the setup in the event that you're curious what setup I use. You can put braid on that if you wanted to, but I do enjoy appreciate the Empress. You're able to max that out with the carp leader, but you can see how they have that set up. As well as for the small, you'll want the carp hook number 2. Now, we could argue that for hours on end. The struggle is real on this one, sometimes getting the small, so I would practice getting the small for this for sure. Now, it's going on here for the marks as you were to spawn in there at Willow Lake. Look for these trees right here. As you can take a left and you can see that's a good telltale sign that you're going the right way. Now this comp is actually in dark, so I'm kind of taking the extra time to kind of show you myself. Sometimes I get lost on this. Now there's not saying this is the only spot to use, but this spot in particular, as well as one of the other spots that I will show you, does work really well, one or the other. So again, there at Bridges Lake, I did turn to the left. Now that is a unique mirror, but however, I do get grass carp here quite often, so this is a great place for the grass cutter competition itself. Now, for if you need an extra spot, you can spawn up here at that was Bridges Lake, excuse me. Now you wanted to spawn up here at Willow Lake, and you're kind of just going to walk up to the right again. I'm just kind of showing you in the event that you strike out in the first spot, you can come over here to this spot as well. It kind of seems like a long walk, but it's usually worth it. I've got anywhere from 70 to 75 pounders over here. Now again, the most difficult part that you guys that might play in this competition, it's very difficult to even get set up for, and it's sometimes can be frustrating as well. I would like to say most of the time I do get a nice unique grass carp from one or two of these spots, probably 70-75% of the time. I would encourage you to practice getting the small. I struggle with getting the small in this thing, and I have for some time. It's just one of those mini projects for me. But again, if you needed this mark as well as where to walk to, Willow, Ken, a lot of the lakes somewhat look similar. You can get lost here, believe it or not. So if you watch this video in the future, you run into trouble in this comp, I wanted to make sure that I did have this up on the channel. Now, you can, but that's a little bit of a long spot. You can try to shorten that up a little bit. I do that as well. But now, again, over here at Bridges Lake, right there, if you wanted to spawn in, there's another little short spot that I've used in this before and got extremely good grass carps as well. Right there off of that marker in the event that you need a third spot. Now, again, I just mixed this little cutter entry thing up just to get myself, as you can notice, that'll go from red. That sometimes if you cannot get into that, it's because you don't have anything equipped into your PVA or mesh bag. So you'll see here that will go from red to green. Then you are simply going to need to enter into the comp itself. It will allow you to do so. Your tackle will then conform. And then just go over here to the spawn point like I mentioned previously. And I'm going to, in the upcoming clip, I'll show you the actual winning run here as well. So again, I'm just doing this temporarily, following along. That's just enough to, so I'm going to replace that with my actual grass cutter mix. So as you can see, I can swap the cutter entry out with the grass cutter mix. And then I'm going to keep that in the PVA bag. Now, separately, I'm going to put in my Lake Placid mix. I know this is confusing, but I have to go into the detail for you guys that may not be accustomed to doing these sort of things. It's something that you can simply follow, and then from there, you kind of just roll the dice. Sometimes you might end up striking out on grass carp, but it's usually a fun competition. It was really extremely difficult at first, very annoying. Didn't really like it, but, you know, if you're going for X Series gear here, It gives away the X Series Deep Runner as well as other things. Not to mention, as the Club Series starts, I'm a very good sport. I do like people being able to contribute to their club, so I hope this does truly help you guys out. Now, here for the winning run, I'm going to show you. You want to throw out the entire mix, all of it, every bit of it. I'm not going to show you the entire thing, but I'm just showing you my first one and my last one as well. So make sure that you do throw all of this out. This is just me fast forwarding to the last cast. From there, if you're not familiarized with this, I generally will clip my line on. For me, I think it's L1, R1. As you can look at the bottom lower right, I do have 328 foot out of our line on my reel. However, I do recommend this to kind of see you don't have a bell on a carp rod. For whatever reason, they do not let you put a bell on a carp rod like you would a feeder rod. So I do clip that. As you can see down at the bottom, it'll clip that at 54. And then simply put, all you got to do is wait when you get a bite. And it'll go from 54 to 328, or the max reel there. That gives you a good indicator of when you actually have a fish. That does help you out in regards to being ready to set the hook. Again, once that maxes out here, you will see that goes from 54 to 328. Bingo, we got a fish. And then we're just, at this point, you're just hoping for grass carp. Again, like I said, it's not 100% foolproof, but I have got a really large grass carp from this spot with my mix. Repeated times just getting a small. Sometimes can be very difficult, but again, just a little bit of a close-up there. By then, I kind of already knew it was a grass carp. Now, you can muscle this thing in if you want. If you notice, I was 2 clicks down here, but I just wanted to enjoy the fight. Sometimes I think with the new roll shutting and the max drag and everything, sometimes I do enjoy just a nice fish fight. It is one of these climax situations where you're, hoping for the big carp here, and you might as well sometimes you can wait quite a bit of time in these things, waiting for the ideal fish to come in. Also, on a side note, playing in this once before, I've caught I think a 97-pound leather carp, so you will get very, very large misses as well in regards to catching the wrong species, and that usually kind of just makes me laugh. So do expect that. Like I said, you're not going to get a grass carp 100% of the time, but a good fair deal of the time you will notice that I do get grass carp here quite frequently with this mix and this routine. From there, I would say definitely, I keep saying this, but you need to work on how to get the small. Myself, these things can get down to around 2 to 3 pounds, believe it or not, on the low end. So that can pay differences of you podium or not, or even getting top 10 for your club when the club series starts. But there's an amazing 75-pound grass carp. Now, what I usually do here, again, I said try this on your own. I do go down to the 0.3, so I'm looking for a smaller boilie here. Now we're just going to try to get a smaller grass carp, being that this is a gap competition. You need a small grass carp and a large grass carp. So that's kind of just what we're doing here on the number 2. Now, again, you guys can experiment on your own. It will drive you crazy. Sometimes you'll get Prussian. Again, I do have that clipped. As you can see, that kind of helps me know when I need to set the hook. And I think this should help you out. Now, again, these do get a lot smaller, but this score did hold up. And I was proud of myself. I unfortunately did get the bullet sinker, something I did not have. But I was actually looking for the X Series Deep Runner that has eluded me for a long, long time now. Maybe one day I'll win it myself, but if not, I hope I at least helped you guys out along the way. If I did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, and we'll see you guys again in the next one.